Just got back from the Small Arms Review gun show. This happens on the first weekend of December in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a collaboration between Crossroads of the West gun show promoters and Small Arms Review magazine, and it's the biggest gun show this side of Tulsa. In other words, the Tulsa gun show is a little bigger, but this is, I don't know if it's the second biggest gun show or not, but it's certainly the biggest one this side of Tulsa, on the west side of Tulsa. So it happens each year. I've been going for a long time. This year was a good one. It's always a good show, but there's fluctuations and some things are better than others, and sometimes it all comes together and it's just a really good show, and that's what we experienced this weekend. At least I did. Most of the people I talked to had a good time. I went up on Sunday, so that means if people are still having a good time and in a good mood on Sunday, they probably made some money on Friday and Saturday. Probably found some stuff they were looking for, had a good time. So that was evident today, and let's dig in. So this is going to be in the order I purchased it, just in the order that it's in the bag here. The first thing is this staplers. So it's just a big maroon, I don't know what to call it, bag, attaché? I don't know what it is. It's like a container for something. So Tactical Medic is a medical supplier company. They sell everything from individual items you'd put into a first aid kit to the kits themselves, either set up or modular, all the way up to probably stuff that large organizations or departments might even use. They've got a warehouse. They do online sales. They go to every gun show pretty much in Arizona, maybe even in other states. Yeah, I've met them in other states. And then they do other things like the some of the four-wheeler off-road stuff too. So real active and cool store. I've known Sean for a long time, supports a lot of cool stuff out there, and I usually head over to their booth to say hey, and, well, actually, to check on the patches. They sell a couple of our designs through their, at the gun shows and stuff. So just to say hey and catch up, and I saw this. They had a bin, and I won't tell you the price yet. Let's let you think about what this price might be. So fairly large. I don't know how big this thing is off the top of my head. What is it? 11 by 17 or 18 maybe, so 12 by 18 or bigger. Opens up, that zippers on both sides. You know, I don't buy nothing unless it's made in the USA. This stuff happens to be made with pride in the USA. Duck Power, it says. So it's some sort of holder, obviously. It's got these big clear compartments, very high quality, very well made. Like I say, except for a little fray here, I didn't see anything else. There's no tears or rips. It's never been used. Velcro, zippers, this plastic stuff, and this isn't the cheap stuff. This feels great. It's not all sticky and clingy, and it's not cheap. It seems like durable plastic, like what you'd see in an ambulance or an airplane or something. I guess this one has 3 pockets. So I've already got tons of ideas of what to do with these things. They've also got these weird attachment points. So maybe it was designed to hang or something, or it's not really, I mean, it's possible that you could carry it this way, but it would be open. So I think it's just to maybe hang it or stow it. So I'm probably going to just cut those things off and do something else with these bags. So I went up to the Tactical Medics booth, and they had these in the $5 bin. And I thought, for $5, I'm going to get 2. So I grabbed both of them. I only had the 2 there. And I double-checked. They're marked 20. I got them for $5, so I have some ideas what I'm going to do with these things. Now, I stayed at that booth for a minute because right next to the $5 booth, they had a $1 booth. And they had these things in there. And I don't know what it is. It's got Somali. Now, it wasn't folded like that. They look like this. So at first I thought they were canteens, but they're not. They're flat. Canteens are kind of pleated or something. And it's got this piece of Velcro, but this part you can tell is like, you know, maybe for a canister, but this isn't really cut for a canister. This thing isn't, you know, it's not really a pocket, but it could be used as one. This is a piece of elastic, but I noticed that if you do this, the way the Velcro matches up, now you've got a nice little pocket. And I've used things like this on the van to keep track of the little stuff. So these were $1. So I grabbed like 10 of these for Patreons. So these will be going out in Patreon perks, kind of randomly, I imagine. Just little $1 made in the USA, super strong pouches. I don't know what to call them. So that's from Tactical Medic. I think I got their business card in here. We'll send out some business cards too. And that's the kind of cool stuff you find at a gun show, right? This is stuff that maybe they have online. I don't know. But maybe they're trying to just get rid of it out of the warehouse or whatever the reason was. They're probably not going to, you're not going to necessarily find these things going for $1 online, or maybe it's hidden in the catalog. So just having this stuff in front of you is kind of cool. Having it in a dollar bin to rummage through. So speaking of dollar bins, some guy had 2 of these things for $1. So I said, hey, can I get 5 of them for $2? He said, sure. So boom, $2 for 5 of these things. I thought that was a pretty good deal. I think I have a couple of ideas of how to play around with these. Something that I did pay 0 for. My friend Martin, who is the author of the AK Bayonet book, a good friend of mine for a long time, KCA member, and he had done a diorama, a display, a historic display, or a kind of an informational display at the Dallas Collectors Club, and I think he said he won the modern rifles section, and this is a written description of it, and he only had a couple of these printed, but he had one specifically printed because he knows I'm trying to grow the library. So not only was it free, but made by a friend specifically for me. So there are digital copies if you want to nerd out on that, but Martin's super knowledgeable and cool to be able to chat with him. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Small Arms Review, as I mentioned, collaborates on the show, and they almost always have their magazines. Normally I'd grab a big stack, but they were eyeballing me, so I only grabbed 2. I'll probably send these out to Patreons, though. I don't even look at them, really, because I like the old ones. And this year they had back issues. They've never had that before. They said they got some from somebody. So the only back issue I ever care about is December 2010, and I think I've talked about that before, or we'll talk about it in the future, but the best issue of Small Arms Review. Got 2 of them. These were $5 each, so this was the $10 that I put on the credit card. Got a Voltor patch for nothing. That was free, thanks to the Voltor. Met up with family that I've been purchasing stuff from, seeing them at gun shows now for a long time. The parents and now the kids run tables. This time I think they had 3 tables at the show. They do surplus and all kinds of neat stuff, like real surplus. Magnets from hard drives and stuff for $1. But big magnets out of big old hard drives. And this is something they've had. It's a older product. It's from 87, reprinted in 91. But it's a deck of cards with basically stuff you could forage, plants that you can forage. So it doesn't get all into hunting or trapping or even mushrooms and other things. It's just plants and stuff you could forage, and it's kind of cool. It's got a hole in the deck. It is a deck of playing cards, but there's a hole in there. I don't know if I can get that to show. And then they give you a ball and chain. So you can put that through there, and now you've got an index or a list of cards. So you can still play them as playing cards, take the chain out, but you can use them as a reference or a guide, or a field guide with that chain. So this was sort of all in North America, and this is a set that his daughters had had made, but set up to do the plants that we have here in the Southwest, the actual plants that we have out here. And while these are color pictures and everything, they're from 91. These are much nicer. And this is a set of 20, and every time you buy a deck, you get one of these. So I think he sells the decks for 11 or something, but I traded them. So we traded decks. I gave him a Firearms Inventors deck, and he gave me both of these. I thought that was pretty cool. This might be 11, and this is 7 or something. I forget. It's a couple of bucks more for the supplement with the Southwest plants in it. So that was another freebie, kind of, or trade, I guess. I got a big stack of these. These don't really count for nothing, but I thought these are kind of neat. These are schedules for the Crossroads of the West gun shows. And then I didn't even look at the back. Basically a little information about the show. And then, but the calendar for 2020. They're cards, but they're plastic. So kind of neat. Anyway, they'll hold up for a while. Easy to see. I'll send these out to Patreons too when stuff goes out. It's kind of stuff that you kind of be part of the adventure, see what it's like. Here's the $5. We'll talk about that in a minute. I really only spent, I guess, $55 today. Got Got some stickers from Tactical Gear Line, some new friends out of Southern California. They make nylon gear. Got Imperial Arms. I don't know who these people are. Just saw that sticker and they let me have a couple of stickers. Thought that was cool. Got an AK on them. Something called Trinity, Nevada in Las Vegas. And there's a lot of cool stickers. Again, I just grabbed a couple of stickers. I don't know what they were actually. I think it's a range maybe. There's another one. Let's see. So we got a couple of handouts here. Going through a bag here that I got all my loot in. That is supplied by AZ Firearms. Our friends Dan and Cheryl Todd. Of course, their table was there. I got a picture of that on Instagram already. Here's my cheat sheet, my list of stuff that I was looking for. I won't put the prices in there, not to so nobody gets offended. But we got the. I don't even know what I wrote here. Oh, I found a fake knife I was looking at, some German blanks. There was a whole box of knives that were $1 a piece that were not just shitty. They were like classy shitty from like the 70s. So I was thinking about buying or maybe trying to get the whole box for like $10, but I only had 50 and it wasn't that important. So I went back to go look at them and they were way long gone. They were just really weird, kind of goofy looking 70s knives. And then there was a 50 BMG that I never went back for. That's just a pen. All right, we'll get into this, and then we've got some other stuff. So this is a bag. I think I have 2 bags in here. This is a bag of Russian pins. Something it says on there, Russian pins. It was $12, and at this point, I didn't have $12. I think I had $10. So I said, hey, will you do 10? And they said, sure. So I had this bag, Russian pins. Went over, talked to my friend Martin, and we were chatting. And then I noticed that he had a bunch of pins on the table, because he has a table there, he's selling stuff. I said, hey, is this bag of pins worth anything? You know anything about it? And we did like, I think a 5-minute video. And he went through the bag, looked at all of them, and pulled out a whole bunch and gave us the lowdown. So some of these are the equivalent of like their scouts. Some of these are the equivalent of like junior Republicans. But these are all commie, I think. Or no, they're not commie. They're modern, but they have some commie kind of symbolism or emblems and stuff on them. So these are stuff that kids or people would wear who are either teaching kids or, I don't know, busting kids around, wherever they do. And then I think a couple of these were things you put on the collar of a uniform, and the rest were just sort of pins that you'd wear. I think this one he said was East German, and it just said something about being good at school or something. So a bunch of interesting ones that have some value, and then a whole bunch of them that I basically wasn't going to go through and look at each one individually, but these would be like the equivalent of the spoons that a grandma might buy here, or a button or something. I guess they're just a couple of cents a piece, and it's something that people accumulate. Maybe they stick them on their hats or on something like a patch panel, and it's just a bunch of interesting stuff. It's all in Russian, and when I got a whole bag of this, I figured, yeah, it's worth $10. I'll send these out to my Patreons, right? Be an interesting thing to get, kind of be part of the gun show. And that's what I like about gun shows, is finding weird stuff you didn't even know. Here's a bag of collection. I don't think too many of these are duplicates either. When I was looking at it, you could just tell that these are pretty much all unique. Martin kept a couple of them that actually helped him out for something he was interested in doing, and then he gave me $5 or $10 for the couple that he kept. So these are all free. So there's another bag of free stuff. That's all going out to Patreons. And then I went over and bought something for $5, and that's how I got the $5 left. I think it was probably one of these things. So we'll get into the good stuff, the ammo. So I don't know what order I bought this stuff in anymore, honestly. I think this 3 came together. I seen this. I was like, what do I want? A Swedish one? Why do I want to pay $7 for it? But I didn't. I was like, I'm not really that interested. I like colors on the tips, right? I don't care about the head stamps yet. That's too much collecting, you know. I'm just interested in collecting the colors and stuff. But I didn't have... Wait, did I not have a red one? I wanted another spotter, because I know I'm kind of starting up a second collection, either do as a giveaway or an auction or something. So I figured I need to get another spotter, and I think I only wanted $3 for this, and that's a decent price for the spotter. And then, I don't know if I thought I didn't have a red, or for whatever reason, you know, having a red's cool. So I grabbed this red. But together, I think it was like $10. So that's how I justified buying a $7 Swedish. But now I guess I do have a Swedish head stamp, and they do look a little different. Ours say 50 and stuff, and theirs has like some kind of weird serial number. That might say 50 over there. But yeah, that's a weird Swedish round. So a couple of more for the BMG collection. Then some guy, I guess, was sick of having things that are cool and had these things priced for $5. So I grabbed a couple. Actually, no, I said, hey, those $5. And he goes, tell you what, you can have 2 for $5. And I was like, yes. So actually have both of these. But now that I'm thinking about being a head stamper, I figured it would be some fodder. So every once in a while when you're collecting, you just got to buy a bunch of stuff that you think is duplicates and then take a closer look. And I suggest you do that to anything from Matchbox cars to anything, really. Like Star Wars figures. Like I never knew until I watched some of these shows that you've got a Star Wars figure from here and here and here. They're not going to have the same hands, and they're going to have different parts and stuff. So all that's super collectible to people. And that's the kind of stuff that makes a fortune for a collector. When nobody knows what to look at, when nobody knows to do this, and this is a let's say a $3 commodity, but one of them is a $20 commodity. And when you look at this and go, I'll buy this for $3, knowing you bought a $20 item, right? And then I got these, and I think I bought these together also for just a couple of bucks. This might have been my last $5. And then he said this was a Utah head stamp, and those are rare. And I'm like, all right, I'll take your word for that. And then this one is a black and silver, and I don't think I have a black and silver. So now I have a black and silver, and I have to figure out what a black and silver is, because I don't think I haven't had one yet. So for me, first time I come across one of those. So that's the loot. That was $55. Got a bunch of stuff I can send out to Patreon, so I'm digging that. I got $5 I can put back in the wallet. I'm digging that. Got some stickers. Got a new Voltar patch. Always like to have a Voltar patch. They're here in Tucson, so that's a cool company. And new ammo for the collection. So we'll be digging into more of that. I've got extras for, like I say, a second collection that I'll be either giving away or auctioning off or something, trying to raise some money and get other people out there collecting interesting stuff. And then made some new friends, got in contact with old friends. That's probably the best stuff you can buy at a gun show. When you pay for parking, you pay for admission, think about that kind of extra benefits you're getting out of it. Just an awesome show. It was a great show. Like I say, the weather was great. People were happy. Met up with Heavy and Angry again from Gun Channels over on west side of Phoenix. And again, new friends from California. I met up with friends from Tucson again. A whole bunch of old friends from Tucson, actually. So, yeah, just a great time. So thanks, everybody, for being part. Hopefully you're enjoying your gun shows. Don't listen to the people that don't like gun shows. They're probably not going to have any fun. Go have some fun. This was $55. It expands a couple of my different collections and gives me something to send out to Patreons. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. Consider jumping over to Gun Channels, where we have conversations like this on a regular basis. Thanks for watching.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.